That's a Ram, and that's a truck. Ram Truck Trucking. RTT, welcome back. Welcome to Ram Truck Trucking. I'm Johnny Mack. Figured it was time for an introduction. So, we got a few things to talk about today. One of them, all these wonderful products that we're going to be mounting on the pickup truck. Two, I got to answer some fan mail. And then we're going to have a little talk about the truck afterwards. But first, I got to deal with this fan mail. I don't understand how I'm getting fan mail already. Combined in the previous couple of videos, I've only had about 55 views, and dudes start blowing up my email, leaving comments, and I don't know how, but somehow he got my damn phone number and started calling me. So I've changed that so that he can't bother me no more. But I'm going to answer his fan mail about the inside of the truck. He's wondering what I'm going to do with the setup. So I still haven't really decided, but we're going to take some measurements today and talk about what the possibilities are. So follow me. All right, so we got a couple options here for this truck, but we're going to take some measurements so I can put it down on a sketch pad and try to figure out what is going to be the best thing to do. We're going to put a sleeper in the back of this truck. We're going to take the back seat out. We're going to build a platform. We're going to put a bed in, maybe a little office space, but we're still not exactly sure what we're going to do. But this guy is bugging me over this fan mail crap. He wants some measurements, and he's thinking about doing this too, so we're going to take some measurements. I'm going to need to do it anyways just to figure out what we're going to do in this thing. But so first, this is about the best the driver's seat's ever going to get. It ain't going to get moved up any further. This is going to come out regardless of where we put the bed. And I'm thinking we're going to be able to put it right here. I think it's wide enough. We're going to be able to sleep a little diagonal. And I ain't the tallest guy in the world, so I ought to be able to figure it out. There is a possibility, though, that I take out that front driver's seat and put a bed down the whole passenger side, or the passenger seat, and put a bed down the whole side of the passenger side of the vehicle, and then make this a little workstation with the printer and all of these other things that I got to have in here. So first things first, we'll imagine that this seat ain't here, and we're going to put it all the way back, and we can see right here we're going to have about 38 to 40 inches between the back wall of the extended cab and the front driver's seat. Now let's look at the length here real quick, and I'll shove it right over there, and we're looking at about 64 inches, so about 5'4". Well, I'm 5'10", so that's not going to work unless I can go diagonal. Now if I go diagonal, that gets us to 6'3". I'm not 6'3", so that's going to be a lot of room if you ask me. So let's go take a look at the other side. Here we are on the other side of the passenger vehicle, and if you know anything about this long bed, that was a 5-minute walk. This is a huge truck. So we come in here and we go to the back wall, and let me get myself some extra tape here. Back wall to the passenger seat really far forward, I got 51 inches, okay? That's a lot of room. That's a lot of room. But I do want to check and see what it's like if I was to take the front driver's seat out. So we'll run this tape measure all the way there to the back wall. And all the way to here. And that's 7 feet. Okay? Ain't nobody 7 feet tall. Well, I'm sure somebody's 7 feet tall, but it ain't me. But that would limit, if we go that way and I take out this here passenger seat, and that's going to limit my bed width to 24, 22, 24 inches, because we're going to always leave the center console in. So, I mean, I'm a skinny guy. 2 feet wouldn't bother me a whole lot. I would have my feet down here. My head would go back that way. and I would be able to have more room up there by my head. But down here by my feet, I'd only have about 22 inches, and that's not terrible. I don't have giant thighs, so it's not going to bother me a whole lot. But so that's what we got going on here. We got two things to decide. Are we going to take this seat out, and then we're going to put a bed all the way down the whole passenger side of the vehicle with the office space in the back on the driver's side, or we're going to put a bed across the whole back, leave this seat in, and turn this area into the workspace with the printer and any kind of tools that I might need to carry, personal items, bag of clothes or two, deodorant, very important. Don't forget your deodorant on the road. You got to go into the truck stops and eat and stuff like that. You don't want to ruin somebody else's day. So, but I do want to say, if we're going to put the bed in the back seat, and we're going to put this seat all the way forward so that we got maybe a little bit of room between our bed and a seat if we wanted to sit up, you can see right here, I mean, there's not much room here. Maybe 4 inches. You ain't ever going to put anybody in this seat. All right. If you got a bunch of stuff back there, and this seat is going to be stuck in this position, you're not going to have a passenger. And that's a bit of a problem. So we'll see. Maybe that far back. Give you about 9 inches, you know, but let's take a look at the back real quick. So if we leave ourselves 9 inches up front for a little bit of room, we're going to wind up at about 45, 46 inches. And that's going to leave you a little bit of leg room here if you wanted to sit up and put your feet down in order to get up in the morning and sit there for a second and just kind of wake up, or if you just want to hop straight out of the truck and scare the hell out of somebody because you know you haven't messed with your hair or anything, you know. So I don't know, we're going to do some pondering. I got some graph paper. We'll sit down and we'll figure it out, the cubic inches and whatnot, but ultimately we're only going to put the bed about 20 inches up. All right. You need this much room at least to be able to sit up in the bed, and you ain't going to do that with any less than, or if you go any higher than 20 inches. So, all right, got that fan mail squared away. The guy can leave me alone. I'll meet you at the back of the truck. It's going to take a minute. All right, we're going to talk about some of the equipment you're going to need if you're going to be out here, especially hauling RVs. We're not going to do 100% RVs. We'll probably get into some hot shotting at some point, but if you're going to haul RVs, some of these things they're going to require you to have. So we're going to talk about some of the things that we got and why I went the way I did with some of the things, and roughly what we've spent so far on the pickup truck in order to start getting it ready for work. This isn't everything, okay? This is just some of the stuff that we've got that's got to get bolted on and got to get squared away. So mud flaps, WeatherTech, fronts and the rears, okay? I went with these because they're just going to be simple. They're specifically made for the vehicle, and they're just going to be easier to install. I probably won't have to pay anybody to do them. When it comes time to put them on here in another video, we'll do some installation videos on some of this stuff so that you can see what I had to go through, what kind of tools I was going to need in order to get this stuff installed. So we got front and rear WeatherTech no drill mud flaps. Not required, okay? This equipment is not required, but this is the Bulletproof Mounting Solutions. I went with this because it is also basically plug and play, all right, and it's supposed to be really nice. These originally came out specifically for Ram, Jeep, but you can get them for all the other vehicles now. They do easily install on the Ram and the Jeeps though, very easily. I seen a guy had to put one of these on his Ford. My goodness, what a nightmare. I'd have sold my Ford halfway through the job. So Bulletproof Mounting Solutions, supposed to be the best. Look, it's on YouTube, and that's where we went to school for all of this stuff. So that's why I went with that one. Rexing. This is the dash cam. I went with this one after let's see if they got a YouTube symbol. Nope. But I was on YouTube when I learned about this. I learned about everything on YouTube. Like Elon said, you can learn anything on YouTube. So I went with the Rexing. It's got 2K, 2K HD, long battery life. It's got a rear mounted camera, so I'll be able to put it behind me to be able to track what's going on behind the vehicle. Somebody told me that this wouldn't be the best idea. It didn't adjust very well, but I did find out. I went with it anyways because that's what somebody on YouTube said. It's one of the better ones. And when you're buying dash cams, they're pretty much all the same, but this one had a couple of components in it that are a little bit better than some of the rest. So there's the dash cam. You're going to need a torque wrench. When you're setting up these trucks to haul these RVs and you're setting up the individual RVs, they're going to make you torque the lugs. They're going to make you do a bunch of things to make sure everything is tight. So I got the Craftsman. Used to be made in America. Couldn't tell you now, but who knows. And nobody on YouTube was really talking about it, so I just had to guess. You got to have a printer and a scanner. You're going to have to be able to send in invoices, respond to invoices. Heaven forbid you get any damage. You're going to have to be able to scan in photos and turn it into the paperwork and stuff like that. So we went with the Canon. Once again, I didn't look on YouTube for that. I just went to Best Buy and picked one. WaySafe. This is your main piece of equipment. Now, let me tell you why I went with the WaySafe. And you'll see this in the installation video for the WaySafe. The WaySafe has a gauge on the side. Okay? So when you're hauling RVs, you're going to be putting all different kinds of and sizes of RVs on your rig. It's not like you bought an RV and you're going to go traveling around the country with the same RV and it's always going to be the same every time you hook it up. The WaySafe has a gauge on it. It's got a scale. It's got a little hydraulic scale in it. And when you set up the vehicle or you set up the RV on the hitch, it's going to tell you how much tongue weight you have. And then they're going to have an app that's going to be allow you to go in, take a few measurements, tell the app what the unit weighs, and then it's going to tell you how to specifically adjust it so that you have properly distributed the weight. That's going to be important. That way your setup is only one time. If you don't have an idea of what your vehicle that you're towing is going to weigh, and you don't have any way to properly adjust it, you're going to hook it up. You're going to spend a bunch of time hooking it up. You're going to get out on the road and you're going to realize, oh man, this thing still feels a little sloppy. I'm going to have to pull over and make another adjustment. So then you pull over, you make another adjustment, you get back on the road, and then you're still not happy with it. You got to stop one more time and tighten something down. And if you're trying to haul RVs and you're trying to make some money, you don't want to have to keep stopping every half hour at the first two rest areas once you pulled out of the yard and making adjustments. You're going to add 20, 30 minutes every time you stop. You got to get this silly thing out, take and re-torque things down. So I went with the WaySafe so that we could get some exact setup assistance. Okay, we're going to set it up, we're going to adjust everything properly. It's going to properly distribute the weight amongst the vehicle so that you don't have to stop again. Another reason it's important to properly distribute the weight on the vehicle is we're going to be pulling into DOT scales. Trust me, you do not want to upset the DOT people, okay? That's going to cost you more time sitting around, waiting in line, waiting for them to come inspect you because you went across the scale and you got a bunch of weight on your rear axle almost nothing on the front axle, and maybe you got your rear axle overweight, so now they're going to make you make adjustments and rescale. I mean, I can see that at a DOT scale. I can see that taking an hour, hour and a half, easy. Heaven forbid they get a lunch break in the middle, because they're not going to finish dealing with you before they go on lunch break. They're going to say, okay, it's lunch break time. See you in 45 minutes. Meanwhile, you're stuck not making any money, and if you're not making any money, well, you're not having a good day. So, the last thing I want to talk about here is the Rockstar Rock Guard, okay? It's also vehicle specific, Ram 2500, 3500, we got the 2500, okay? This is a full length rock guard. It's going to mount directly underneath the bumper, and it's going to come on and off real easy. You're going to want to be able to take this off, in my opinion, because when you're empty and you're just cruising down the road, you don't want something back there dragging air costing you 2 miles at a gallon. 2 miles at a gallon is a lot, all right? Think about your prices of your gas right now. We're at $3 here where I live. If I wind up in Colorado, now you're talking about $4.50, $5. At 2 miles to the gallon, that helps pay for the gas. So every little bit of mile per gallon that you can get out of this vehicle is important. So we picked one that you're going to be able to install while you're working, and you're going to be able to take it off and throw it in the back of the pickup truck. I bought these little add-ons. These are the extensions. This is going to make this rock guard stick out past the vehicle. It's going to protect the RV that you're towing. It's going to keep more rocks off of it. And you can see right here, if you can see, I hope you can see, this is just the regular guard. This is the extension. It's going to stick out a whole another 6 inches, and that is going to catch a whole lot more rock. Look, in the RV industry, a rock chip can put you out of work, okay? This is probably one of the more serious pieces of equipment that you're going to have in order to make sure you can keep working and you're not chipping up trailers. If you chip up trailers every time you do it, at a certain point, they're going to say, have a nice day. So, I'll go over some of the pricing here, okay? The WeatherTech mud flaps. The WeatherTech mud flaps were like $200, $220 for all four, okay? The Rexing dash cam was about $249. The bulletproof mounting solution was $140. The Craftsman torque wrench, used to be made in America, was $100. The WaySafe is your big ticket item. This came as a package with a few other things in there. Locking ball hitch, locking pin for the receiver. Very important. That was $1,200, okay? Canon printer was $69. I checked the price on the ink. It's a couple $100 in ink. We all know that battle. It sucks. There ain't nothing you can do about it. I'm just kidding. It wasn't a couple $100 for ink. The Rockstar Rock Guard with the extensions, it was about $360, which was better priced directly through them than anywhere else. Amazon had them. It was going to be, with the extensions, it was going to be like $410. So we're talking hundreds, several hundreds and hundreds of dollars. I'm not good at math, but I gave you the numbers. You pull out your own calculator, you can add it up. Hundreds, okay? So, all right, one more thing to talk about. Follow me. All right, if you are buying a vehicle right now, you may know this, but you may not know what I had to find out. If you buy a vehicle right now, 4 days after I bought this truck, there was a ransomware attack on the dealership computers, okay? They're having a hard time selling vehicles. They're having a hard time looking up parts. And once you buy the vehicle, when they can figure out how to sell you one, they can't get you a title very easy. So here I was thinking I was ready to go, and my title is not showing up. It's just not showing up, not showing up. I call them, well, yeah, it's going to be a problem. Don't worry, if it's after 60 days, we'll pay any penalties and fees. And you know what, that doesn't help. I don't want to wind up in a position where I got to pay some fees because somebody else can't get me paperwork. So I did some homework. I found out that there is an old school way of doing it. They can dig out the paperwork, and they can do it like they used to do it 20 years ago and fill all the stuff out. I learned that. I called down to the dealer. I asked them if they were going to be able to do that. They didn't even know that that was an option. So they looked it up, and sure enough, they agreed it's an option, and they got the paperwork out a whole lot quicker. So if you are in a situation where you have bought a vehicle and they keep telling you you can't get a title, you'd let your dealer know that they need to pull out the paperwork. Somebody in that dealership was around 10, 15, 20 years ago when they didn't have the computers, and they can remember how to do all that stuff. So let them know. Pull out that paperwork. Sorry, put some elbow grease into it and get you your paperwork so you can get your title, so you don't wind up getting fined for their problem. All right, so we're getting there. We're getting a lot closer, and there's going to be a lot more happening here real soon. We're going to do some install videos over the next couple of days, and hopefully I can help you find some tips and some advice that if you're trying to do some hot shotting, or you're trying to do some RV hauling or anything like that with your pickup truck, maybe you get a shortcut, maybe you wind up with a headache or two less than I had. So that's all I really got for you now. Like I said, we're going to do some install videos over the next couple of days as we go through and put this equipment in, and be working real soon. Our goal here on this channel is to put this Ram truck to the test. We want to put 100,000 miles on this truck in a year. That's coming real soon. We're going to see what happens when you put 3, 4, 5,000 miles a week on a Ram truck, and whether or not it can handle it. I went with Ram because I didn't think Chevy had what they used to have. Been a Chevy fan, diehard fan my whole life. Never owned, well, haven't owned a Ram truck for a really long time. Never had a brand new one. But I had a couple brand new Chevys, and if you got a brand new Chevy and you put a lot of miles on it, you probably know why I switched. So once again, Ram Truck Trucking, RTT for short. If you like Ram trucks, if you like trucking, if you like bad dad jokes, well, welcome to the channel. Have a good day.